Okay, so you're bleeding in the head, whatever. They give you a beanie. Do you make it back to your unit? What's going on?
Okay, so I get back and when I'm walking back, I can see all the blood and there's like a broom. Someone took a broom and right through the whole middle of the the blood pile, and it was done by the orderly, the tier tender Coy, my partner. He wanted to destroy any evidence. Somebody, when they carried the dude on the stretcher, because what they do is they take him in the ambulance to Vandenberg Air Force Base, because Lompoc is in the middle of an Air Force base on federal property. And somebody, when they were carrying him, they stabbed him in the back through the gurney. I have no idea, I swear to God. I don't know who did that. And so a couple hours later, the guard comes and says, Bobby, they want you in the lieutenant's office. And so the FBI's there and everything. But I keep my beanie on. I'm going to deny everything. I don't know what you're talking about. And they had already, by that time, they had 35 statements against me. And it's all the guys from, the main guy, Curly, that egged this kid on, man. He's a good kid. I love the kid, man. He messed up. So, the guy stabbed me. It's my instinct. It's the way it is. And like 35 statements against me, they pretty much knew. So they put me in the hole, and I stayed in the hole for a long time. And my dad, right away, he knows that I'm not going to just go kill somebody. That's not what he raised. He raised someone who'll defend himself big time. And it was like when I was a little kid, when them kids jumped me, my dad said, "Get a baseball bat and you go find them. Huh? If you don't take care of them, they're going to come back and they're going to do it again to you.
That's how it was
Don't,
back then.
huh?
That's how it
I'm a
was
little boy.
back then.
Oh yeah, I'm a little boy. But I learned this is what you got to do, man. If you're going to survive, and that's why I'm alive now. That's why I live as long as I am, because I'm a survivor. A survivor survives whether he wants to survive or not. You know. So anyway, it's they put me in the hole. I stay in the hole for a while, then they send me back to McNeil Island, and Willie's there. He got captured. Snuffy, Stony, Barry, the let me see. There's uh,
You're down there with all the fellas. Barry
Tony P.
Mills, everybody's there. Willie Bobo.
Yeah, and then we all went to Marion. Is they locked me up again for another killing. I have nothing to do with it. I have nothing to do. But when they saw, hey, he's one of them, and they found a note and they had the members. Someone was sending someone else a kite that this is who we are. See, they voted me in when I was on my furlough, when I was in escape. So when I got back, I technically was already a Mexican Mafia member when that guy died. So because now they know I'm a Mexican Mafia member, so they figure any new killing, it must be him for his initiation. And it don't work that way. You don't get to kill someone. They just know who the hell you are. And if you're respected and you got a sponsor, I want to vote him in. They vote you in. Anyone says no, you're not in. It's that way. And I was
Who
in because I
sponsored you? Who sponsored you? Willie Bobo?
Willie Bobo. Yeah, Willie Bobo. And back then, a guy named Kilroy is the founder. Kilroy, when I got out, I actually hung with Kilroy. He become a Christian. and there was 3 or 4 guys that turned snitch, and I mean, I already knew I was not going to go back to prison. They already knew I would not come back to prison. Even Barry and them guys, I mean, shit was coming down. They would say, Bobby, you're gonna go home. Well, we were in Marion. They because I mean, I said straight up what I was gonna do, and I kept my word, man. You know, but it was a warning. Look, if you come back, you know, if you say you're gonna go, you know, and you're gonna go straight, and you're not gonna play this game, you better not come back. You better stay straight. And then, I mean, me, Kilroy, Luis Talamantes, Big D. Big D's another co-founder. Big D and Kilroy became Christians, and Michael T was Aryan Brotherhood. I used to go to church with these guys, you know what I mean? Even though I'm not a Christian, I became a sun dancer, the Native American religion. And that came because of Leonard Peltier. So anyway, you heard about Leonard Peltier?
Of course, I interviewed
Native.
the former federal judge on my channel that's representing him, trying to get him out of jail right now.
Yeah, I was his international spokesperson for Leonard Peltier. I went to the United Nations for him many, many, many times. I got resolutions from the European Parliament, the Belgian Parliament, the Italian Parliament, the Bundestag in Germany to demand his release. The French National Assembly. I've done a lot of work for Leonard Peltier. But anyway, it's so they send me back to Lompoc. When you know, because I get put in the hole, and then when I'm in the hole, this guard comes by, opens the window, says, "Bobby, your mom's dead." Closes it and takes off. Huh? Just like that. Your mom's dead. And I knew my mom was sick. She had her bladder removed, one lung removed. She had leukemia. Then the cancer got to her brain, and I knew it was a matter of time. So they got me in the cell, and I'm in the bottom bunk, and there's this guy on the top bunk. I'm crying, man. It's my mom, you know. I'm thinking of my little sister, my little brother, and you know, it's he says, "Fucking," you know, it's a man, you know, grow up, punk. Whoa! I pulled this guy off. I mean, when he came down, he slammed his head. And I was beating him to death. And the guards, you know, they heard him screaming and everything. They come and they got me. And then a couple of days later, they put me on a plane, took me to the Air Force base in Washington, and flew me back to Lompoc. And they put me in what they called a dungeon, I block in the hole. Nobody there. I'm the only prisoner down there. And I'd been there for a month, you know, no one to talk to or nothing. And then one day, man, all of a sudden, pow, 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 pow. I can see the flashes from guns going off, and I can hear a guy, you know, crying. And that the guy crying is Dallas Thundershield, Native American. I was always close with the Native Americans also. Always went to Native American groups and stuff. And then I was even the director of the 7-Step Foundation, Iron Mind chapter in Lompoc. And I mean, I was running groups and stuff is because drugs, you know, right up. And but it was helping me change also. So you know, I was given a different perspective. I was learning things, how to do things that I never knew how to do because I didn't go to high school. So I was getting an education. Plus, I was going to school too, taking college courses, health, occupation.
But Bobby, I want to ask you this, right? I want people to know you end up getting convicted of that murder. You get convicted of manslaughter, right?
I got convicted of manslaughter. Yeah, the judge gave me 8 years concurrent with my federal bank robbery sentences, and he says, "I don't know who's more to blame, the prison administration or you." He says, "You should have just walked away." I said, "You know, can't walk away." I said, "If I walk away and check in, then I'm in more trouble because remember, I'm Mexican Mafia too. If I walk away, I'm dead. It's and it's not in me to walk away. These guys are there. I'm cornered." And you know, my friend Buzz, when we were going to trial, the prosecutor, he was good, man. He was good, lying, but he was good, you know. And I could probably be found not guilty, but he says, look, you must find him guilty. He says he's got a good story. He's got all his friends who come parading up here. He comes dressed like he's a professional baseball star wearing his suits. I had this Italian woman. She went in. They had me measured, and she had a bunch of suits made for me. It's but actually the guy who pulled the guy off me is an Italian guy from New York, and so his aunt come and took care of me. He pled guilty to manslaughter. I told him, man, you're not, it's going to screw me up in my trial. He got worried first to be murder and everything, and so anyway, but they gave him 5 years concurrent, and, which was less time than the sentence he was doing anyway. So anyway, they found me guilty of manslaughter. Yeah, the judge said, the prosecutor said, look, he conveyed a weapon. And my lawyer already told me that that's going to be your problem. So Buzz, my partner Buzz, homeboy, he testified that he carried the weapon from the cell where I was getting a tattoo to the hallway. And when they circled around me, he handed the weapon to me. So to say that I wasn't conveying a weapon. And then he said, look, he's got 3 guys saying that he didn't carry the weapon, that he didn't convey the weapon, but he conveyed a weapon. He conveyed that weapon straight into the heart. He conveyed, he said he was conveying that weapon from place to place in the most deadly places of earth. And the jury was like, and I was like, oh my God. So, and the judge was like, he was looking at, the guy was good. The prosecutor, after the trial, when he got the manslaughter verdict, he says, if I was your lawyer, I would have found you would have been found not guilty. I said, why'd you do this to me, man? He says, it's because this is my last case, and I'm trying to get into this law firm, and it was a big case because we had to stop them from using gang, those kinds of things that would prejudice my trial and everything.
Back then, it was a bunch of propaganda. They wanted to move up the career ladder and screw you, and who cares? You're just you. But I'm trying to get up to this law firm. I'm trying to do this. Eventually, you end up in the control unit in Marion, right? I mean, this is all the hardcore dudes.
Before that, let me tell you, it's so when I'm down there in segregation all by myself, and I see those flashing lights and everything, a couple days later, they bring this prisoner in. They put him 2 cells down from me. I recognize him right away, Leonard Peltier. And we got to talk, we got to be friends. And then this Osborne, this one guard come, and he used to always be like this, flashing his mason ring, and he'd always, he says, if something happened to this piece of shit down there, you probably would get cut loose. Huh? And I thought, no way. So I told Leonard, we had a visit the same time. It's the last time I saw my mom alive, this visit. And so me and Leonard, they chained us together. We walked to the visit and everything. And then, so when I got to Marion and the control unit, and when I got out, Leonard was there. We'll talk about that after the control unit. So I got to the control unit, me and Sapo, my partner Sapo, we traveled to Terminal Island from Lompoc. From Terminal Island, we went to a jail, Las Vegas, Clark County. Then we went to some place in Utah. Oh man, whole another long story there. So then we went to Leavenworth, and I was they put me in the hole in Leavenworth. They put me in the hole in Leavenworth. They put me in there with Eddie Heavy. Me and Eddie. I mean, we grew up. We were friends since junior high school. We were actually running partners.
He was Brand, right? Eddie was Brand, AB.
Eddie the Snail Heavy on the Federal Commission of the Aryan Brotherhood. It's he's my partner, man. I showed you a picture. but his mom, his little brother was my younger brother's best friend. And so, I mean, we was in juvenile hall, we was in Fresno County Jail, McNeil Island, Washington, Lompoc, Leavenworth, and Marion together. The two kids from the same block. So anyway, it's when I get to Marion, me and Sapo, we get there. It's Barry's already there. It's and there was some other killings, and then Willie. They when I was in the hole with Leonard downstairs, they had got transferred, and then Willie, Black Bob, Black Champ, and Baby Boy was accused of killing a murderer. Willie just got out a few years ago, from that. It's he's doing good. It's I just pray to God he's I love the guy, man. He's a good dude. He's a really, really good dude. And my
How much
mom
time did
loved
Willie? How much time did Willie do straight? He just got out.
from 1977 until 3-4 years ago. Yeah. And Black's still in.
Black Bob.
No, Black Bob died.
Okay.
I heard Black Bob died, but Black, he's still doing time. It's man, it's
Wow.
so anyway, when I was in Marion, things were every morning, me and Willie and Barry, we make these mail fasteners, and they let us out, and it was a job. At least we can get paid for it. So we would ham it up, and it was really good. But then we had work stoppage. We were supporting a strike on the main line. So we quit work, and then the guards, man, they were bringing us nothing but a sandwich a day. And so we decided to flood our cells, and I was flooding my cell. And before that is Clay Fountain, Clay, and I forgot Colum. They killed this guy we call Ping Pong, and Ping Pong, he came to my cell. He raped this kid named Baby Boy, young white dude, man, in Leavenworth in the hole. And you can scream all you want in the hole in Leavenworth, and no one's going to hear you. No one's going to respond to it. And he didn't let him eat for 5 days. Broke all his ribs. Took his tray too that came in, and he had raped a few white guys. And anyway, he came to my cell in the control unit, and he wearing a jock strap, and he pulled his stuff out. He's, and I thought, I know what's going to happen to you. So then the next day, Clay came, and he got word from Barry and them. They told him, look at man, because of my sentence running concurrent, said, you got a parole date. This time you're going to go home, man. My nickname, Professor Bob, because I was every day I'd read the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, all this stuff. I'd get like 5 different newspapers. Back then, you used to get free stamps and stuff. So I would get something that says, subscribe free, 6 months free. I was subscribing to everything I could read, man. So I would do that, and they really wanted me to go home. And probably for other reasons, but from doing good too. It's because I had already before everybody else come in, except for Willie, I had already made contacts with cartels and stuff. What later become the Sinaloa cartel, the Venezuela family. They were my friends, and I just had things. I would have it delivered in the U.S., and then we would eventually get it. And, it had a network going, so that became theirs eventually, and grew big time. So then the when we landed up flooding our cells, the guard, when he came in, he saw, I had built a dam for like weeks. We had been saving up our plastic from uh, the sandwiches and stuff, and the tape. They would the tape. So I made like a dam. I was plugging my cell, and I put the dam down. They came out. The Klutz, or you heard the name Earl Klutz?
Of
That's
course. The
who
cop.
Tommy Silver. That's who Tommy Silverstein killed. Hey, this guard was a SOB. He was just a cruel man. He belonged in prison more than some of them guys belong in prison. It's and they would mess with Tommy more than anybody. Tommy Silverstein. So then I'm pretty sure it was Earl Klutz. Anyway, three guards, they come and they got me out of my cell to take me to the boxcar cells. In the boxcar cells, the Supreme Court already ruled that they was illegal. And that was in the case Bono versus Saxby. Victor Bono, a good friend of mine. And so they couldn't put you in the boxcar cell, but they took me anyway. Anyway, they handcuffed me. I had to turn around. They handcuffed my back. They put leg chains on me. Then they put handcuffs to my leg chains in my wrist. So I'm in a hog tie position. I'm down. They take. I'm really not sure. I'm most positive it was Klutz. So that they stopped my ears. So I got to wear two hearing aids now. They destroyed my hearing. Then they dragged me and they had me spinning me around, and let me go and bam, smash into the bars. Then drug me around the other side to B unit, which is the boxcar cell. They drugged me over there, left me hog-tied in that position for 8 days. Huh? They used to slide my food, my tray under the cell, and I would have to eat like a dog. Huh? Then no toilet. Huh? No toilet. I had no clothes. They came in, stripped me, so they put the chains back on, left me. So I had to try to work myself to the toilet when I had to go to the toilet in a little hole. No toilet paper, nothing for 8 days. And they had stopped me. They had my shoulder was out of socket. They tore my rotator cuff, and
So people know. I want people to know that Klutz is the guard that Tommy Silverstein ended up killing. He was pretty much just a nasty dude, right?
he was. I mean, he was bad. Uh, uh, I mean, there's a couple good guards. If they respect us, we respect them. And even when they don't respect them, we still, I mean, why act like a fool for? So, cell warders, we call them the cell warders. You know that, yelling all that stuff. It don't get you nowhere. So,
When Silverstein did that, I mean, how'd you feel when you found out that old Klutz was gone?
well, I mean, he was a legend. The guy was a legend for the abuse that he did on prisoners. So, man, they did this kid Speedy. Speedy, he had got a cup and for days put urine as his defecation in the cup and he threw it on the warden. And, I mean, they damn near killed him. And I think that was the only reason why I got out of the boxcar cells is because man, I could hear every day they would beat him. And so at that time, I really didn't hear. I could feel the thuds, and it took me a long time before I could hear just a little bit. So my ears stayed ringing and ringing and ringing, and
And
So
Bob,
anyway,
how old are you now, Bob?
74, 75 in 2 months.
And you lived a pretty rough life. How much time did you do straight before you ended up getting out?
I mean, 10 years. So I did. I mean, most of my time is from 12 to the time I did my bank robberies, I was in more than I was out. So
And being in the Mexican Mafia, I mean, once you're out and everything, did you exit the gang, or I mean, was it just you?
I told everybody. I told Willie more than anything. I said, man, I said, I swear to God, I swear to God, I'm gonna if I got to go to the United Nations, I'll go to the United Nations. With their, because now it became cool. The Marion Control Unit, ADX, yeah. See, all the joints you're talking about, they didn't exist when I was doing time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been out 41 years now. Never went back. It's I made it. Very few. I know nobody except for Rafael Cancel Miranda that made it out of the control unit and survived, kept his head together.
They did that Marion experiment, just like the things that they were doing to people. It was destroying people mentally, emotionally, right?
Hey, they used behavior modification. They would use psychotropic drugs, thorazine, stalazine, prolexin. They use different drugs, and when I found my freedom of information, that it's all crossed out. It's all crossed out. They had a vent that had a bunch of little holes in a metal plate, and they had the light behind that was a light. So it was probably the reason why I got to wear glasses now. And so, but there, if you get up and you can see a nozzle pointing out of one of the holes, and they would hook up different canisters, and they put that canister in, and then they'd gas us. It was an experiment to see what the effect, and they come by. I mean, these are dumbass prison guards, and at this time, I don't remember if it was 60 Minutes or 2020. They did a article on Marion, and there was a large number of people who affiliated themselves with the Ku Klux Klan, and they took pride. Almost 80% took pride that they were south of the Mason-Dixon line. And so they had a mentality, man, that's they're all wearing MAGA hats today.
So listen, the one thing that I want to get to before we get ready to go and close the show is that when you get out of prison, I mean, does Willie Bobo and them, are you allowed to leave the Mexican Mafia? I mean, are you afraid? Like, man, these guys
we corresponded and everything. Look at, man, just the guys who made it, that got out, all the guys in the Mexican Mafia are proud of them. But the ones who got out and snaked, shame on them. But if they really want to succeed, they get a family. I mean, everybody roots for them to succeed. For me, in the yard when I got out of the control unit, Leonard Peltier, he told me, because he saw how the youngsters followed me. He says, man, he says, you're Native American. So you need to do something. It's the reason why I started the gangs. The gang program, and why I started going to the sweat lodge, and I became spiritual, and I became a sun dancer, and then I represented Native Americans in the United Nations many times, besides prisoners, and it really helped me to be somebody, man, and to be recognized as doing something good, and But my main thing, man, that is I work to all the time stop kids from being me, and being like me. I had treaties between Norteños and Sureños, and I would tell them straight up, look, if I decide to get back in, you're my puppet. You're a Sureño. You're my puppet. You got to do what I tell you to do. You want to be a puppet? And the Norteños, you want to be a puppet for some Nuestra Familia member? Use no. And like me, I was reading your background and everything. I saw a picture of you. I guess you have a kid now. And, looks like you're married. And every morning, my success is I ended up having a boy. And a couple years out, I look at my boy every day. You know, I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to do something. I'm going to make my boy proud of me. And then I became a recognized human rights defender. And, you know,
And that's
he's
the
my boy.
thing. That's the thing, Bob. I want people to know about you. You know, you live this life. You live the life that people talk about, man. You live the life that people see, you know, in movies. I mean, you killed somebody in prison, man. Somebody tried to kill you in prison. You were part of the original Mexican mafia, dudes that are highly respected. I mean, I was in federal prison. That, I mean, to me, and I've said this numerous times, they are the most dangerous group of men. But I got along with a lot of them dudes, man. I respected them dudes. I mean, I was friends with a bunch of Serenos. Was on the yard with Fox. I was on the yard with Bobby. I know what type of dudes those dudes were. I know the power that they had. I know the control that they had. And just dangerous dudes at the end of the day. But you know what? You got out of prison. You're an older gentleman now. You're living your best life. You had a son, and you're from what you're saying. And I think this is the message today: is that your son was your motivator to never go back to prison, right?
Okay, now I got two more kids. One is 7 years old, and the other one's going to be 13.
And you're
Yeah,
how
I'm
old?
still. Oh yeah, I'm just. Hey, I ride a bike 50 miles. You know, I was doing 100 miles a day. Well, a couple times a week I was doing 100 miles, and I got ran over. And when I got ran over, I then this shoulder's all wired. I got 6 screws in my back with a plate. I got two metal hips, hip surgery, and two knee replacement surgery. I was like 5 months in the hospital, and I came out, and the first thing I can think about doing is get back on my bicycle.
Now, and
You know, but
you're
yeah, I met a woman at the United Nations, and I was actually getting an award. I was with my son, and it was for teaching your next generation, which was my son. But he didn't turn out to be an activist like me. He's a vice president of the International Bank on Wall Street. Yeah,
let me ask
it's
you let me ask you this, right? Well, I don't know, maybe I better not. This is the thing, right? You're living in France, right?
yeah.
Do you speak French?
Je parle français, pour.
So if I were
C'est difficile pour moi parce que je suis sourd, and I said it's difficult for me because I'm deaf. And then au nouveau langue, c'est difficile parce que and then the difficulty for me is when we come here, COVID started and everybody wore a mask, and I read lips, you know. So yeah, I mean, j'ai lu the journals, I can read, I lis, I
so
read.
like if I
So
were to say bonjour, comment t'appelles-tu? Je m'appelle Chad, et toi? Is my
no,
French
you're too
okay?
fast. Yeah.
I'm just messing with you. Look, man, before we get ready to go, man, what would you tell the young dudes, man, that are growing up in California, gangs? I know you talked about this puppet thing. I think that's like, I mean, I think that's it. I think that's you want to be a puppet, but go ahead, man. Before we get ready to go,
Look,
say your
look,
piece.
hey, there probably isn't more than 250 Mexican mafia members. And there are 20, 30, 40,000 Sureños. Huh? And you're our B team. And a Sureño, you know that you got to do the bidding of the Mexican mafia. If you refuse, you're dead. If you mess up, you're dead. You know, why? Why do you want to do that, man? There's a good life. It's you know, most of the times we bury our life with drugs. That's the worst thing. You know, I got no problem with pot. You know, but the other drugs, man, I got to really tell you, it's you know, stay away from that because you will lose your life. You definitely will lose your life. It's it take control of you. You will end up doing something stupid. You're gonna end up doing time, especially for you dudes in California. Now, what happens to you in California? They got what they call the Street Terrorism Act. If you, if they know that you know someone who is a known gang member, a Sedano or Mexican Mafia or any gang, you fall under the Street Terrorism Act. So you automatically get an enhancement. You're going to get 10 meters more time. You automatically go straight to the shoe. Automatically. You know, and then you're buried. Your chance once you get buried and getting out is very, very slim, man. it's not a good life. It's not really a good life. It's it's a deadly life. You will see hell, little brothers. It's it's the worst part of my life. Being free and having a job, and even like now, I don't have a job. I became a political activist, and I get my money from making speeches and going to universities and what have you. And I've taken a little break because I got ran over, but I'm back on my feet, man. I'm gonna get back into it. But I need to find someone to help me with my book. I've got like 350 pages of my story. It's but I'm not a good writer. I mean, I put my story down just like the way I talk, but some of it needs to be edited. Just worked, spell check, all that stuff. It's so I hope someone who sees this knows where I can go get some help, because I'm finished with it.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it after. Maybe I can help you. We'll see what we can do. But anyway, listen, Bob, man, I appreciate you coming on. I think that it's a good message. I want people to know, like I said earlier, man, you are the real deal. You are the dude that lived that life. You were with Barry Mills and Bingham and, Willie Bobo. I got the pictures. You're with Willie Bobo and Eddie, for people that don't know who he is. He sends you a picture with him, his brother, and his mom, and writes on the back, "Hey, bro, don't be checking out my mom," type of stuff. And like these were your friends. These are the people that, you lived with, that you would live with and die with and eat with, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's, all of them guys, those pictures of the Mexican Mafia, that's like this picture. I don't know if you can see this picture.
I can.
Right here. Okay, this is me. This is me. This is the kid that got piped right there. It's
Sleepy.
This them I showed you, like there's me, my homeboys, and Willie Bobo in that one. It's
Which one's Willie Bobo?
This is Willie Bobo right here.
Serious dude, right?
I'm going to send you a picture of my baseball team with Wayne Bridgewater out there, because of the DC Black War. They kind of famous. I love Wayne. I didn't have that much of a rapport with Al, and Al wasn't AB yet at that time. So when before I got out, they put him in. So
well, maybe
apparently,
why don't we do this? Because I'm going to get ready to close the show, but maybe we'll do another. We'll do another part, and maybe we'll talk about the DC Black War and all of that stuff on there. How's that sound?
Yeah.
So, Bob, I'm going to close the show. Tell everybody, man, I appreciate you coming on. Tell everybody, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got more to come. Blood on the Razor Wire.
One last thing. Of all the channels I see, some are rats, some are wannabes and everything. You're down, dude. You make it real. I've got a lot of respect and love for you. I'm proud of you.
Well, listen, man, I definitely appreciate you, man. The Zoom thing's going to end on us. So look, man, Blood on the Razor Wire TV, with respect until tomorrow, we're out.